Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a first ever episode, something actually very different than usual content. I'm going to be doing a little podcasty sit down talk with you guys. I feel like, it could be very nice to just have a real conversation one on one. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I hope you enjoy this. And if you don't, let me know. So let me start by saying this, and I have some notes written down on my laptop over here, my handy dandy trusted little notepad. That's why I'm going to be looking at it a couple times. I'm going to try my best to look at you guys. So I'm your host for today, Isabel. If you don't know me, I'm a model. I have been for quite a while now, and I'm from New York. I own dogs. I ski. I love to be active. This feels more like a Tinder profile rather than a podcast episode, but we're going to roll with it. I am very comfy right now, as you can see. I think this setup is not going to change for a little bit, but whatever. So, welcome back to real life, guys, not the movies. Yeah, this episode is going to be about the scenes nobody prepares you for, meaning real life basically versus the movies. What do people talk about versus what they don't talk about? You know what I mean? Like what's real versus what's fake? The moments in life that we're like, oh, I wish I could have skipped that. Yeah, things like that. So I've often asked myself this question: why does my life feel like the movie version I was promised, just with all the wrong lighting and the wrong soundtrack and sometimes the wrong characters even? That's right, the wrong characters. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the year-long situationships. I'm talking about the ex-boyfriends. I'm talking about the friends who we thought would be in our lives forever, but where are they now? You don't know. I don't either. Couldn't tell you. Let me start with this. So let me give you a little bit of a background about myself. I moved to New York City at the first time, 17 years old. I was still in high school, part-time high school, part-time modeling. And, I thought it was like the opening scene of a rom-com, something like You've Got Mail. I thought it was going to be like, me in a tiny little adorable studio by myself. Oat milk latte in hand, hair somehow always falling perfectly into my face, waking up with eyeshadow on, and oh, wow, this perfect blowout just happened right after my shower. Yeah, okay. The boys in leather jackets waiting on street corners to bump into me dramatically. Can you guess if that really happened, guys? Just take a wild guess. I'll sit here for a second. No. If you thought yes, well then okay. Maybe for your life, not for mine. I was greeted by, actually, the first couple days I got to New York, I got punched in the stomach. That was my first experience. Walking down the street in a skirt and a Brandy Melville crop top. I got punched in the stomach by a homeless person, and I started crying because I was just so overwhelmed. Running down the street, I have construction guys behind me, basically catcalling me. I'm like, oh my god, what is happening? My I could be at home right now with my boyfriend at the time and my friends at the time, and I was like, this sucks, get me home, like whatever. Thankfully I got over that little hump, and I love New York City. I wouldn't change where I live for the world, but that was definitely little 17-year-old Issa was definitely scared out of her mind and wondering what she got herself into, because I didn't know. And then I realized oat milk lattes are not the best thing for you every second of every day. Adorable Studios cost $5,500 a month. Utilities not included, by the way. And New York City is actually quite dirty in the area that I lived. So it's not a rom-com. It's not a rom-com. The place definitely did not smell like a rom-com, not look like a rom-com. Honestly, I'm making it sound a little bit worse. You go to Central Park, and obviously you're going to find those moments where, like, wow, fall in New York City is the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. But girl, fall in New York City is not all year round. And summer in New York City is beautiful too. I love it there. I love New York City with my whole heart. But let's not pretend it's, the greatest thing since sliced bread, because it's not. It's not. It's beautiful, it's not. And, one of the first people to bump into me was an Uber Eats driver. So looking for the wrong apartment. Definitely not the true love experience I had ever hoped for. But then again, Issa was in a very committed relationship at the time, actually, with the person I thought I was going to marry. But don't we all at 17 and 16 and 18? We all think that. But unfortunately, the movies never really show you what um, what mess really looks like. They show you the magic. They don't show you a 17-year-old girl moving to New York City, scared out of her mind, having a terrible experience the first day, holding onto the subway for dear life. They show you, oh my god, this girl is just perfect and flawless, and look at her hair and blah 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 blah. Yeah, no, that wasn't me. Now, another moment I thought would feel like the movies, which honestly I wish I could have skipped over, terrible moment, is when I realized that my best friend at the time, the girl I did everything with, slowly stopped treating me like I was a part of her story. And you know what? No shade, no nothing. Because honestly, at this time in my life, I was also doing these things to people. I mean, I broke up with a guy because I was like, which was the ex boyfriend. I broke up with him because I felt like, oh my god, I'm just a mess. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing at all. I feel like I'm struggling here, and I can't bring someone down with me. Now, the thing in the movies is they do show things like that, but do they show the true depth? I guess it depends on what movie you're watching. Most times, no. I felt like a mess, and I didn't want to hurt anyone else, and I was terrible to myself, and I felt like, you know what? I'm going to resent myself more if I stay in a relationship where I feel like I can't be the best version of myself. Show up for this person. Show them that I truly love them. And, I really did love this. I loved him so much, but I couldn't be the best version of myself. And you know what? Maybe that was just, right person, wrong time. I'm going to say that maybe for now. But going back to the best friend. In movies, it's so much easier to justify a friendship breakup, which in my mind are worse than regular breakups. So much easier to justify it. I mean, they end with dramatic fights, and here's a letter and big paragraphs, tears, and a final hug. And I didn't get any of that. Honestly, I didn't get any of that. Now, do I wish I had? No. Maybe it would have dragged this on longer. Maybe it would hurt my feelings even more. Maybe I would have been bitter about it. I'm not bitter at all. I feel like, you know what? Things happen for a reason. People drift in and out of your life for a reason. And there was nothing I would have done, I feel like. I mean, I I felt like our friendship ended with a slow fade. You know what I mean? One day I would get slower responses, and this was after I'd moved to New York, and we were talking before I even moved to New York. Oh, I'll visit you every day. It's a 2-hour train ride, but I'll visit you. I'll stay with you. I'm so excited for you. Slowly, that excitement turned into a disappearing act almost. Like, you know, I asked, is there something wrong? Am I doing something that's making us feel so distant currently? No, no, no. It's just so much going on in my life. It's nothing against you. Okay? So then I started noticing, it might seem so superficial to say this. My my Snapchat started to be left unopened. My text messages weren't being read as fast. Okay. Well, I asked her, is there something I did wrong? No. And suddenly I'm watching this girl that I love, you know, and I say love because it's present tense. Suddenly I'm watching this girl that I love just fade away from me. And I feel like in the movies, when it ends with a bang, we're done. You cannot, I can't be friends with you anymore, I hate you. Cutscene. End. Okay. Got it. Got it. But when it ends with a, did I do something? No. Did I say something? No. Maybe it was just distance. To this day, I still don't know. I still don't know. And it seems like we've only gotten farther. So I started to pull back as well. I noticed the lack of effort, lack of texts, one sided conversations, and I'm not coming to see you, but I'll go travel another 4 hours to see someone else. And I'm like, well, all right. That was kind of the nail in the coffin for me. That might have been my closing period. But again, I would have liked to know what was the reason. Maybe there was none. Maybe it was just all in my head, honestly. Maybe I was being a little bit dramatic, but the silence was what hurt me more than any movie scene had ever prepared me for, had ever shown me. And I always thought these friendships, these great loves of your lives are always supposed to be here. And I thought this girl was my soulmate. Platonic, of course, but I did. And when I was proven wrong and it wasn't some big blowout fight, I think that's what hurt more. Because when a breakup happens and you say, I'm done, we're done, done. Close the door, slam the book, we're done. I don't ever want to see you again. Or when a breakup ends mutually, this will be the best thing for me right now, in my case. And I hope later on we can find each other and find a way to be together again. Okay, great. Good to know. Thank you. Yes. But when it's dead silence and you don't know exactly what happened, you don't know what you did, you don't know what you said, it really makes you wonder. It makes you think, huh, interesting. Makes you sit back, honestly. And it really does hurt. And, you know, movies really make relationships look easy. They make friendships look easy. They make relationships look easy. They don't show you the pressure, the confusion, the guilt, the way a boy can hurt you or a girl or whatever, and the next boy can make you feel safe and unsafe in completely different ways. They don't show you the heartbreak. They don't show you the raw emotion that a person actually carries when going through these things. They don't show you the feeling of being in a relationship you don't even truly want, or the guilt of hurting someone you never meant to. They don't. Because they can show you the crying scenes post hurting someone. They can show you the, oh, douchebag cheater, look at him, he's awful. But not every relationship ends like that. And not every relationship begins in a perfect fairy tale way. They don't show you the trauma responses you don't even realize you have until someone's tone or silence triggers something in you. Oh my god, did I hurt this person's feelings? I mean, they're not talking to me. They're not blowing up my phone every day. They don't show you the confusion post being in a terrible relationship, if you want to call it that, and then going from that into a healthy one, and you're like, why isn't this person blowing up my phone every day? I don't understand. Because that's not how it's supposed to be. What is healthy is boundaries. And movies don't show you the creating and forming of boundaries post being in these relationships. They show the breakup montages, but they don't show you the part where you have to relearn what safety feels like, what being out of this relationship feels like, what taking a breath of fresh air feels like. I'm done with this. Releasing it looks like. They don't show you the part where you end up the villain in someone else's storyline, even though you You are surviving on your own and having your own internal battles. If I could, and I could see the POV from people that I've hurt in my life, oh, I would 100% want to see that. Because there are people that I have hurt in my life that didn't even realize that what I was doing was unintentionally hurting them. And I'm sure we've all done it. But you can't get those moments back. And honestly, movies don't show that. We love to be like, let's romanticize this breakup because, oh, she found her spark like this fast. She's good. She's good. She's good. You know what? Look at her go. Look at him go. Look at them go. But it took me months. It's still taking me time to figure out what I really want in my next relationship. And maybe it's not a relationship at all. Maybe I need to start slow with a friendship. And that's reality. It's messy. And I wish they'd show that more because they don't. And honestly, if I was a movie producer, I would try to project that onto the screen as much as possible because I feel like teens these days and people these days, they want to see more reality brought into the screens. And they don't because people are so scared of showing reality because they're like, "Oh, it'll upset people that have gone through this." Maybe that's the point. Maybe we show other people what it's like to actually go through scenarios like this. And if it hurts someone's feelings, then so be it. You know what I mean? Don't go see the movie. You don't like it, don't watch it. You don't have to. But you know what? Don't even get me started on the modeling thing. No, I'm kidding. I love it. But movies, they show the glamorous montages, the runway, the lights, the slow-mo hair flip. Oh, gosh, she looks perfect. Wow, how does she do it? You see me right now. I don't look perfect. I'm in sweatpants. I'm in a quarter zip. My matcha ready. And the reality is sometimes you're not going to hear what you want to hear all the time. You know what I mean? Like, not every person's praising me when I walk into a room like, wow, you're so beautiful. Because that's just not what happens. It's not. It's the reality of the situation is it's really not. I mean, someone at a fitting could straight up tell you that you look too big while you've been following a meal plan and pushing through sickness and exhaustion. Could happen. But has it happened to me? I don't know. But I feel like people often think that it's so easy to be a model. Like we just have some glamorous lifestyle all the time, which is just not the truth. I know a lot of girls who stress over the fact that they don't know when their next check is coming. Some of our jobs are net 90, net 120, net 180, whatever. We get our checks quarter of the year, third of the year, 90 days into the year, or like 90 days after the job, after the fact. Net 30 is the best, and I would love it if every job was net 30, but they're not. When you have to pay rent, though, when you have to pay off agency's debt, and your job is a net 90 job, you're paying, let's say, $4,400 for your apartment a month, and you share it with another girl. So split that down the middle. So $2,200 each. You need to pay your rent. Your roommate has her half because she got paid from a job she did 30 days ago. Do you have your half? No. So people from the outside looking in could be like, well, you made thousands of dollars off this job. Well, you just worked this, and that. Well, where's the money? If you guys can show me, I'd love to see. I mean, since everybody wants to put their input in and how rich and glamorous I'm living my life, where's the money then? I don't know. It'll come. It'll be here in a couple weeks, usually. So, yeah, that's it. I do want to say though, model apartments actually are the best thing that ever happened to me. Met all my friends through those. Has some crazy stories to share through those. And I've loved everyone that I've lived in. Granted, I have the best agency. I think that you know, exists. But again, I'm signed with them, so I have a bias. I love my agency. I love my agents. Love my mother agent. Love my managers. Love them all. Can't complain. I'm a very lucky girl. I lucked out with them, actually. I know a lot of girls who tell me horror stories. I haven't had any. I love them. I think they're amazing. So, yeah. So, but also, what is it with movies and portraying agents as some evil creatures? Guys, I swear, they're not like that. I haven't had any like that. You know, chance that you get someone like that is, it just doesn't happen. It's movies. You know what I mean? They, but movies also cut the scene that's too upsetting, too honest, too real. Why do that? Why do that? People want to watch a movie sometimes because it's so personal to them. But I mean, you guys are cutting every real scene that there is. Real life is upsetting sometimes, though. Job regards, whether that's like, oh my god, I have no money. Like what I was just talking about. Oh my god, my paycheck's gonna come in 90 days. What do I do? Real life is upsetting sometimes. Real life is, you know, young girls sometimes that I see doubting themselves, doubting their bodies, and beating themselves up over it. And even though they know how hard they've worked to have that body, how hard to show it off, no one else does. Oh wow, she put in this, and that, like XYZ work. She did this, and that. Most of the time, people are like, okay, good for you. Everybody in New York's on a diet. Good for you. You know what I mean? Real life it's messy. It's being strong enough to show up the next day. I get one bad result out of here. You know what? Screw it. I'm going to the shoot tomorrow. I got this bad comment yesterday. Who cares? Who cares? I have to show up strong tomorrow. The person that I am today, I'm grieving my confidence today, a little bit of my confidence today. And movies don't show that. They don't show like bits and pieces of your confidence being broken off. They show, oh, girl got bullied once. She's done. She's out. And some big come around scene. No, life is not like that. I've had my confidence, I've been bullied in school, and I've been bullied by adults in my real life, which is a little bit shocking to me. So I'm like, guys, I thought we were past this part. I guess not. But I have realized that, life, there's no big turnaround scene unless you make one. No one else is going to save you. No one else is going to come to the rescue and be like, you know what? I see you've been sitting in your bed for 20 days and you haven't worked. You've turned down every job opportunity. Because the reality is, when you're an adult, your parents get taken off the emails. They get taken off the emails as a model. And, you figure things out on your own. And sometimes it's stressful. Sometimes it's hard. You went through a breakup. Well, you have a job tomorrow. You have to pay your rent. Be sad tonight. Tomorrow, you're done grieving. You're over it. Here, you're over it. Here, you're over it. Here, you're over it. Here, you're not over it. That's okay. Give yourself time and space to heal. But make sure you can show up the next day. Because there is no big turnaround scene in a movie where, oh my god, everybody suddenly realizes she's smart, she's beautiful, she's awesome. No, you do that on your own. You make people realize on your own. And it's hard work. It's really hard work. It's hard doing those things. It's hard. It sucks. Trust me, I know. It sucks. It sucks. And, I've always imagined living between countries would be some, crazy indie girl, in like some indie film girl montage, whatever. And, sometimes it does. I lived in Greece for a month, for those who don't know. And the beaches, the sunsets, the photos were beautiful. They were real. And in those moments, I felt like, oh my god, this is my life, guys. What the heck? And I get to make money while I'm living here. Perfect. But the rest of the time, it's me trying to budget, meal prep in tiny kitchens, get to castings on time while I'm jet lagged, keep up with workouts on the go. I went to a gym in Greece, actually. My agency showed it to me. And my phone died while I was there. I was like, this is the worst timing ever for my phone to die. But it died. And you know what I did? I went up to the front desk of the people that don't really speak English. And I was like, do you guys have a charger? You have to find ways to adapt. Movies don't show that. Movies don't show that. They show the girl whose phone dies, she's stuck, she finds some perfect Greek romance, and he scoops her up and brings her to this crazy rich apartment and whatever, and they live happily ever after, whatever. Yeah, that didn't happen for me. Honestly, I wasn't even looking for love in Greece. Wasn't looking for love, still not looking for love, period. But if it comes along, it happens, whatever. But that's besides the point. But I was also trying to keep up with friendships, keep up with my family, keep up with myself, most importantly. You can lose yourself so easily when you're keeping yourself so busy all the time so that you don't even have to have a real conversation with yourself at the end of the day. And you know what? I'm going to think of these as my real conversations. Hey, Issa, what's up? But you lose yourself when you're not able to sit down at the end of the night and have a conversation with yourself. And you know what? Sometimes movies show those aspects where they're like, oh, this person's just, the cycle repeats every day and she's getting depressed. But they don't really show that. They show she's laying in bed every day, whatever. Oh, God, she's such a, scoundrel. She's not going to classes and whatever. In real life, it's like, oh, my God, I can't breathe. I've overscheduled myself so much, I can't breathe. What am I doing? And I actually got really sick towards the end of my stay. And it showed up on my body. It showed up on my face, my chest, my back. I started breaking out very bad. My face became swollen. Had a flare up in my mono again, actually. The movies show the romance of travel. They don't show any of the isolation that comes along with it. And they don't show the young girls moving in together and each of us equally being confused on what's happening. What do our day-to-day schedules look like? And how are we all going to work out? But I guess that's the beauty in living with a bunch of young girls together, is that we all figure it out together. So I guess you can romanticize that part, and you could use that for your movie next time. So I'm going to ask this question. Now you can think of the response in your head. You could say it out loud. I'll give you a second after I ask. So knowing all these things, you can't skip the tough relationship parts. You can't skip the breakups. And you can't skip the hard decisions in your life. You can't skip the isolation in your life that you'll experience at some point. Why do we still want our lives to feel like a movie? I'll let you think. And here's my answer. I think deep down everyone wants their lives and their moments in their lives to feel like they mean something. You know what I mean? We want the breakup to be worth it. We want it to be harsh. We want it to be done. We want it to be dramatic. We want something that we can run to tell our friends. And then we want the perfect soundtrack to go along with it. We want the Taylor Swift songs that we can all listen to, like, how did it end? We want the depressing things we can listen to. Because, you know what? Sure. We want the friendship lost to have purpose. We don't just want it to be another person that was meant to come in and out of our lives, because that would suck. That would suck. We want the move to a new city to feel like a new beginning and not just a stress inducer where it's like, how am I going to afford to live? How am I going to afford my apartment next month? And we want the things that we've survived to eventually turn into scenes that we're proud of. And they do. They do. For the most point, they do. And maybe that's the point. Movies make things clean. But real life makes things real. Real is scarier. It's deeper. It's stronger. And it's way more beautiful once you actually step back and look at the whole storyline, not just the scene you're stuck in. So if you're listening to this and your life doesn't feel like a movie that you imagined, maybe it's because you're not at the ending yet, and you won't be for a very long time. Maybe you're still in the messy middle. The scene where you're growing up, you're learning, you're making mistakes. Maybe the scene you're in now is the one that builds character, builds you into the person you're becoming. And maybe, just maybe, real life doesn't need to feel like a movie to be meaningful. Your life is meaningful, whether it feels like a movie or not. It's meaningful because it's yours, and that's the beauty of it. I'm Isabel, and thank you for listening to the first episode. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye-bye. Love you all, and I hope you have a great, great night.